What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Slimecast episode 6, I believe. I can never remember the number. How's it going? We finally got that long promised guest. Every time we talked about we're gonna get a guest on, we finally did. Under 10 hours, he is here. How's it going?
Hello, I'm pretty good. I'm glad I've been hyped for the last few weeks.
From
That's
parts
no
unknown.
pressure. No pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah, from parts unknown, deep within a cave trying to escape the pandemic.
Yeah, hiding with his Nintendo 64 as the ray of the sun in the desert heat. What's everyone been up to? It's summertime, fucking barbecue, sunlight, and also the pandemic. What's everyone been up to?
Do you want to go first or should I?
Well, you go ahead.
Okay. So to go first, not much. Haven't done much. I feel like summer has just kind of flown by.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I've just been working on my channel a lot, doing different things, trying to switch things up a little bit, try to get some more variety in what I'm playing because I feel like I do a lot of driving games.
Yeah, I did
But
notice that.
yeah, there are so few these days that I'm constantly itching to play some kind of arcade racer or something. So I guess this gives me an this gives me an excuse to do that pretty much every week. But I am playing different things now, so.
Yeah. There's so many races now try to go for more of the simulation feel versus outright arcade.
Yeah, and I respect the simulation aspect. Like, you have to be a much better driver and think on your toes a
Yeah.
lot more, but it is not a genre for me.
Right. Well, Burnout Free Takedown is my racing game. That and Mario Kart 64. So you can see the
That's
camp I'm coming from.
yeah, that's pretty good. I don't think I played Burnout 3. I have Burnout 2 on the GameCube, and I played the PSP ones. Those are great. Oh, and
Yeah, definitely.
Revenge.
Hey,
Revenge on the 360.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna be right back for a second. I just gotta take a quick call, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, that's fine. Anything else you've been up to?
Just trying to fill time, really. I I'm in between jobs right now, trying to find something in the gaming field, which would be like a dream come true. Um,
Like development or more on the journalism side?
Probably the more journalism side. Um, I feel like that's kind of a death sentence. 'Cause-
Yeah, I mean it's
'cause-
a dying industry, but yeah, I think if you bring the personality, I think that's really the driving market these days.
for sure. Just trying to get my name out there and do stuff like that. But yeah, I kind of can't believe it's already August.
Yeah, August. I feel like I haven't done anything. I went swimming once. I haven't made my summertime videos I wanted to make. It's just like it's Halloween stuff at Safeway already.
I know. I already got to figure out my October stuff.
I'm not ready for October. I live in Washington State. We need a break from the rain.
Oh my God, I can't even imagine. I live in Louisiana, and it is
Yeah.
raining constantly. It feels like walking through water, just walking outside. It is. I feel you. It is humid. It is hot. It is rainy, and I honestly just can't wait till October just to get some relief from this heat.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, it's like that nice, like fall and spring's that nice middle point between the blaring heat or the snow, shoveling the damn driveway.
Exactly. We don't get very much snow here. It's probably snowed 2 or 3 times in my lifetime here.
Oh, really? That little?
Yeah, the South is not known for our snow accumulation.
Yeah, well, your state, Louisiana, I know it's an interesting one, about like some of like the ground. Like I think, bailing bodies, I know it's like you gotta bail them a different way. I don't know if the ground's too wet or something, but it kind of spits the bodies back up.
Oh yeah, so it's kind of crazy because
Yeah.
in New Orleans especially, we're below sea level, so you can't. Yeah, the water table is really high. So you dig down like 2 feet and you're hitting water, so you can't exactly do that. So we bury people in mausoleums above ground. So there's basically these stone buildings and this architecture that just holds the deceased. It's crazy to look at. It's definitely one of the things people come here for, and it's part of that. It's part of that reputation about voodoo and dark magic and stuff like that New Orleans is known for. It's definitely worth seeing once.
And I'm adding him back in.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, man. There is a lot going on right now around that, so I just had to leave real quick.
All right, it's all good. I was just hoping we could get you back in. But, yeah, we're just talking about Louisiana and the crazy way they have to bury the dead though, because of all the groundwater and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, the South is definitely, it's got its own feeling to it for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, unless you have anything else that you've been up to, nostalgia, what have you been up to?
Surprisingly enough, I haven't really been playing too much. I haven't been really playing too many games. I've just been working on myself, really. Just go to the pool, do some swimming, work out, do some push-ups.
Nice.
Cool. The only other games I've been playing are Sonic 3 and Skater XL.
Ooh, Skater XL, how's that?
It is fucking wonderful. Like I used to skateboard back in the day, and it is the greatest skateboarding sim out there.
That is good to hear. We've been seriously lacking a good skating game for a while, but like, of course, Tony Hawk and Skate return at the same exact time.
Exactly. I'm sorry to go on the rant this early, but if EA fucks up Skate 4, well, that's the thing. When EA releases Skate 4, it's obviously, it's gonna kind of ruin the flow of Session and Skater XL,
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like EA kind of announced it at the right time, because now the stars are kind of aligned. We have Skater XL, Session, Skate 4, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remake. All the skateboarding stars have aligned, and I think it's gonna be all put together. But if EA fucks up Skate 4, it's one of those stars are gonna look fucked up. One of those stars are gonna look fucked up and not really aligned.
Well, yeah, it is EA, so you're gonna have about 800 skins and microtransactions you can unlock for the skateboarders.
Exactly. That's
it's coming.
You have to pay to change the individual wheel
away.
color.
Yeah, each fucking screw. Well, this having the two competing skate games, it happens a lot with industry. It's kind of like those two Ant movies, those two animated Ants and Bugs Life. It happened like two of the same movie, or like when they have to send the astronauts to stop the asteroid coming, like the two of the same thing will happen at the same time. This guy made a great video on it one time, where it's just like explaining why like two things that almost seem identical will come out at the same time. It's like because things take time to develop. So what if a wave started that?
Mm-hmm.
But
actually,
well, yeah.
I was just gonna say, like, I know skateboarding is coming back hard, but I cannot wait for the 3D platform to come back. Like, I already know it kind of did with Hat in Time and Ukulele, but if it comes back, like, let's just say it comes back again, that would be fucking exciting. Like, let's just say Nintendo decided to get off their ass and re-release Mario 64. That would be amazing. Same thing with Microsoft and Banjo and Kazooie and Conquer. Let's just say they both do it right, and then there's more Hat in Time, and let's just say somebody makes something else. It could be something great. Just like it's like what's going on with the skateboarding.
Mm-hmm. And I think competition brings out the best in a lot of things. So hopefully, Skate 4 and Tony Hawk coming out at the same time really push both sides to make just make two really good products.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and yeah, definitely. I was just gonna say, if these two series continue, then whatever like faults or backlash one of these might face. Hopefully, as they keep going and competing, they'll continue to improve, and hopefully something great will come out of it. Because skateboarding fans of the games and stuff, it's definitely been lacking. They really do deserve something just to sink a lot of hours into.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I haven't really played much Skate, but I am a massive Tony Hawk fan. Like I grew up on that series. And I am so excited and also terrified that they're not going to get the feel correctly. If you know what I mean, like the flow and like
Yeah.
the smoothness, and hopefully they really nailed it. But and they, from what I've seen, they've gone back to the old code and tried to find that what made it feel the certain way, and hopefully they nailed it. But I am a little bit scared, and I will be until September 4th.
Well, their track record, I think, realistically speaking, everyone should be afraid or at least hesitant of the approach for sure,
Yeah.
especially with the way the companies are making money. Because
Yeah,
microtransactions make money and the stockholders didn't go away. So keep an eye on EA.
Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah. Although I am cautiously excited, but I have a good feeling about it. Like from what I've seen, it seems all right. The levels they did them right, and we just got to see when it comes to September. Like I might pick it up day one. I don't know, but still, I'm cautiously excited.
Yeah,
Well,
I
that's
am
good.
too.
Definitely. Well, this is leading me into a topic I have. I wasn't going to start, but this discussion is almost perfect for a topic I have. Well, at least it's in the same ballpark. AKA, it'll make it easier for me to do the timestamp. Uh, what are some like game genres? Or it can be a specific like game, perhaps, or game series if you can't think of a genre that has been lacking in modern day gaming that you would like to see return. And I'll start it off. A game genre. Well, not me. Maybe it's not a genre. It's more of a variation. Futuristic racers. The Wipeout, F-Zero. I would like to see. Well, where's F-Zero now? Like, I would like to see more futuristic racers come out. I'd like to see a new Wipeout, a new F-Zero. I really like the variation on the racing genre because they play differently. So it'd be nice if we could finally get a new one. And F-Zero is the one I'd want the most because it'd have that Nintendo charm to it, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, for sure. Um, it's tough because I feel like a lot of genres have kind of gone, like they went away and then they came back, like we were
Yeah.
talking about earlier, the 3D platforming with Ukulele, and hopefully Mario 64 getting a remaster or port to the Switch. Like I think now is the time to really bring that back, and do something different and cool with it, like do something we haven't seen before. I really like collectathons. Uh,
Yeah.
I might destroy my credibility by saying I really liked Donkey Kong 64, but at the same time, I would really like to see something else, that isn't just a collection, but still has that 3D platforming at its heart.
Yeah. No, definitely. And it's weird how not just platformers, but like the 3D platformer and the collectathon. It's weird how far it's fallen off. Like, because it was such a big genre at one point. It's weird how little of them there are now. I don't know if that was just the heavy boom of FPS genre domination or what, but it's just weird how little platformers and such are mainstream, or you don't see any AAA ones really anymore, which is
Yeah.
it's very strange how quickly they fell off.
Yeah, it's very weird. I think part of that is there were just so many of them, people might have gotten
Yeah.
tired, but just I feel like for a while everything was graphics over gameplay. So when you're trying to make a splash in that kind of environment, you've got to make something that's super realistic. I think that's how we got the military shooters,
Yeah.
and people weren't as into the cartoony people jumping from platform to platform. So hopefully there's a need for that. Uh, I would really like to see something cool and new and fresh, maybe even a new character that's like leading the way for it that we haven't seen before. But that would be really cool.
Yeah, definitely. It's a shame Nintendo never bought Rare, because I feel like then you would probably still be getting the collectathons today.
Yeah, I feel like even if they didn't do the collectathons, I kind of feel like they would have kept pushing different genres forward like they did.
Yeah,
I mean, we wouldn't have modern day shooters in their capacity or even in the style if we didn't have GoldenEye 64. Like that was the jumping off point. So I think it would be really cool to see what they would have been doing to keep genres moving forward.
yeah, definitely. Well, what about you, Nostalgia?
Well, to be honest, I feel like a genre that's been lacking. And again, I don't mean to come back to extreme sports, but BMX games like that's a genre I feel like that's been lacking for a long time because I feel like the last good one was Pipe for the Xbox One. It was basically the skate version of BMX, and I feel like somebody should create a good BMX game similar to Skater XL or similar to Session.
Yeah,
That's
definitely.
that's that's the genre that's been lacking to me. Or it could be something new like scootering or something.
Some Crayola scoot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. It's just, well, yeah, with the extreme sports games, it's just we've lost like those pick up and play games like that. Like, what's nice about skating games or BMX is you can pick it up and play, and it's easy to get into, but there's also stuff to do and master. So it's almost like that
Well,
perfect mix.
actually, I should probably make a review of this, but I've been playing Dave Mira Freestyle BMX. So that game is not easy to get into. Like I remember playing it as a kid, not having fun with it. I thought I could pick it up and have fun with it now, but no, no,
Yeah.
that game is not fun.
That's really funny that you mentioned that because in my stream yesterday, somebody mentioned that if extreme sports games come back, that they should base it off of Dave Mira BMX2, and they said, yeah, it's really hard to get into, but if you really put in the time and get past it, that it's a pretty fun game. So, yeah, I would definitely like to see another one of those too.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to play it for a while.
Mm.
Why not?
Uh, my original Xbox controller is kind of dead, and
No.
it's my fault. It's my fault because I would always like throw it on the ground or something like that, and of course this thing's old, so it's gonna break real easy.
Yeah.
So yeah, my my Xbox is uh my Xbox is out of commission for right now.
Well,
Sucks.
F. Everyone press F in the chat. We need the comments for the algorithm. Everyone press F.
Everyone press F. You can hear
Well,
me.
I have another genre that I don't know if I want it back because I feel like it's only ever worked with a type of controller that is, even if they're not gonna make it again. Brick breaking games, Super Breakout, Okanoid. I feel like that maybe it's radical, but I feel like those games only work with a paddle style controller or like a wheel. So I'm gonna throw that out there as my special honorary one that realistically probably couldn't come back. And it's very simple, but Super Breakout is very fun to me just to pick up and play. It's so simple, but it works. And they do work with a computer mouse, so there is hope for the genre. And there is
Actually,
800 phone games of it, but
Yeah. I think you're right. It definitely works best with a paddle because the touch screen on my phone, in my
yeah.
experience, makes it way too easy.
Yeah, and then the buttons just make it difficult. It's like a D-pad or thumbstick. So it's just like
Yeah.
the paddle's almost like the perfect mix.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say, nostalgia?
I was just gonna say like the genre is eventually gonna come back, but right now it's kind of dead. Uh, sort of like open world games like Saints Row and Grand Theft Auto. Like right now, it's kind of dead. So it's like perfect for like a newcomer, out there right now to release a game. And obviously, it's gonna come back. GTA 6 is eventually gonna release it with rumors of a Saints Row 5. right now it's kind of dead.
Yeah, it's just that Rockstar is like it's so dominant in certain things that it does that it kind of takes over that market. Like you could never make another Western game probably because they kind of killed that market. Same with like the days of quote unquote Grand Theft Auto clones is kind of over. Which now has only left one entity making the games, but that same entity learned how much money it can make online, so it's not making them rapidly. So it's kind of
Yeah,
the
Yeah,
ultimate conundrum.
and that really bums me out because I was really excited for some Grand Theft Auto 5 like story DLC similar to what they did with
Yeah.
GTA 4 because I think that GTA 5 is one of my favorite games ever just for driving around, having fun, like even the story and the missions you do in it were a blast and I wanted more of that and I just cannot get into the online and the size of it on my hard drive makes it so I can't even have it installed because it's past 100 gigs now. It's
Yeah, it's
insane.
ridiculous.
It is
And I,
wild.
yeah, it's just like, all right, what can I uninstall to try to make enough room?
It's always going to be Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah. Well, it's like that's what I wanted
hey,
with Red Dead Redemption 2. I wanted story DLC. But that's a rant for another day. That's all right. What are you gonna say, nostalgia?
I was just gonna say like another idea. I I don't know what you call it, but like TF2 and Overwatch, there should be kind of like a new online game, except not very. It should vary between Overwatch and TF2. Like there should be a new competitor out. There should be like a new competitor out there, and it should bring something different to the table. Just bring back the cartoony funness of CF2, or bring back the combat gameplay, something like that. Just something fun, like throw a wrench into that genre.
Yeah, like a simple cartoony, like online feudal kind of.
Yeah,
It's just
Yeah.
it's like, well, if Valve would get back to game development,
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully it's not going to
yeah,
be as long before Valve starts making stuff again.
yeah.
I
Because
think it might just be forever. But
I tell you though, TF2 is full of fucking bots. Like I play on like 2 4 or whatever, and every time I play a scout personally, but every time I run out there, I just get fucking headshot by fucking sniper. And you can tell it's fucking heck because I barely walk out there and I get fucking headshot.
Can I tell you a quick story about what it was like playing Modern Warfare 2 about 2 years after the game came out?
Yeah.
Because
yeah,
it kind of goes along with that, and I think you'll find it interesting. So for giggles, I was like, I'm gonna play some Modern Warfare 2 online, and immediately what happens is I spawn into a kill circle, and I get shot over and over and over. But every time I die, I leveled up, and I prestiged 10 times in a matter of minutes.
oh my god,
It was
that,
the
that's almost amazing. That's a great
I,
hack.
I was like, I can't even be mad because
Yeah,
this is one of the wildest things. And obviously I still remember it to this day, so it's not exactly like it's definitely funny. And God, I wish I could play Modern Warfare 2, but I'm happy to give it up if it means that happened.
yeah, dude. I had a similar thing happen where I shot a guy in the head and I got a bunch of fucking achievements unlocked, like 500 gamer score. It's like this is great, but also I hope Microsoft doesn't send a scan wave with their algorithm and think I'm hacking or something. Because I don't care
Yeah,
about achievement score, but this is cool.
yeah, for sure.
Nowadays, the worst hack, and as an aside, if you play an old Call of Duty, you spawn, you go to move, and it's like everything's sped up and you can't move anywhere actually, and that's like, oh, fucking, the gun game is hacked again. Time to quit.
hmm Yeah, for
Well,
sure.
I feel like we've run the topic into the ground. You got any topics written down? Um, you got any?
Uh,
I
yeah.
guess I'm addressing both right now.
I have one, but it, this is kind of like it's kind of like it's kind of like a revamped version of an old topic. And under 10 hours, I don't know if you know about this. So it's a G4 topic, and I had an idea. What if they do something like Netflix or Hulu? You know, like that might be a nice
Like
idea. But
on the platform.
yeah, like create their own Netflix or create their own Hulu full of their own shows. And obviously they would have to make it cheap because, well,
Yeah.
it's G4. So let's just say they do, I don't know, $5 $5 a month, $30 a month. Produce some good shows. And I mean, if they don't even do that, they could also stick to YouTube or go back to cable TV. But that's just a cool topic I wrote down.
I don't know if there's room for another streaming service at this point. Because I think the issue, like, I think the idea could have worked at one point. But I think the issue now is it's a combination of too many streaming services. And also, like, even it's difficult enough to get people to go to a website. Because now the internet's so compressed into a few websites. Versus back in the day, you would go to a ton of websites. So I think the best bet for G4 would probably be to stay on YouTube, where it's the open market, and the most eyes and visibility is on YouTube. Because I really feel like you need that open platform. Because I feel like if G4 announced they had like a subscription service of some kind, you would see like all the big Facebook pages, they would share the link to the article, and then I'm sure the comment section would be filled with people saying they're not going to pay for it and stuff. Like, I really feel like now it's too crowded, the streaming service. And for G4, because also with G4, as great as the programming might be now, and again, who knows what they're going to do exactly, they do have a competitor, and it's a ton of people on YouTube who you can access the content for free. So I really feel like G4 is competing with YouTubers now, so they need to be on YouTube to even compete with this modern day internet that's super compressed, and the combination of too many streaming services. Like, I really feel like there's just no room for them to wedge in with a paid website or paid app or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like I couldn't say it better. I couldn't say it any better myself. Especially right now where money is pretty tight for a lot of people. I can't imagine that you're asking people to subscribe to a new service when, in a lot of ways, like Disney Plus launched. Different services are launching, but a lot of them have earned it. G4's been gone for a long time. And right now, if all they're banking on is nostalgia to get you to subscribe, I think they're going to be a little bit more. They're not going to be as in a good place with what they're earning as they probably want to be. So I would imagine they'd probably start somewhere that's easy to access, or they would do like a free trial. But to me, they haven't really earned it to make people pay on top of it. Because, I mean, $5 a month, even then, you can still get, I think, Hulu for $5 a month and get way more content.
Plus, like, even if it's free, it's really hard to get people to go to a website. So it's just like you almost got to put it in front of them on YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you're gonna do that, you got to make a splash somehow. You got to get something that's
right,
like people are talking about it, people want to see it, and we have yet to see what they're planning on doing. But I think that probably remains to be seen.
Because I'm thinking of like, if they're gonna have multiple shows and personalities, in my head, I'm comparing them to something between like a Rooster Teeth and like a GameSpot or IGN kind of. So, and that's if they're gonna have multiple shows, I really feel like it's either YouTube or their own platform, and the only viable one I believe is YouTube.
Probably.
What do you think, Nostalgia?
Oh, I don't really have much to say. I just came back. Again, I'm honestly really sorry. It's kind of inconvenient for me right now because again I have a lot going on, so I greatly apologize for not really hearing out the whole G4 thing again. I seriously apologize, but yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all good. This episode having a lot of technical difficulties, but also it's our first time with a guest, so finding the right chemistry. You know, it's a bit stilted because it takes a while to find the chemistry. But
I've had fun
well,
though. I think this has been pretty good.
well, that's good, and you know, definitely have you on in the future.
Yeah, I'd love that.
You know,
Talking
we're
games.
looking for a regular host too. You know, I'm just throwing it out there.
I appreciate it, but I'm worried that when I do find a job that I'm not going to be able to
Yeah.
commit. So I would hate to commit to something and then immediately leave once the
Yeah.
workload gets too much. So I'm trying to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, plus working on your own channel and stuff, that takes so much time by itself, of course.
Yes, yes, it does.
I'm just throwing the offer out there up in the air. I ain't saying no.
I appreciate it. I do appreciate it, and it's definitely something I would consider. It's just I don't want to commit to something that I can't follow through with.
Definitely. Well, you got any under 10 hours? You got any topics written down that you want to choose?
So on my channel lately, I've been going through some of my collections for different things, like my Sony handheld collection, my N64 collection, Xbox collection, things like that. What are some of your favorite things in your collection, if you have any?
That's
Just
a good
any
question.
system, any era. Just what are your gems?
Well, a lot of mine come
Well,
from. Oh, you go.
I was just gonna say, Jimmy Neutron Return of the Twonkies. I mentioned it on the last episode, but I love this game. I used to play it as a kid, and there's a very nostalgic VHS commercial that I fucking love.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that. Definitely.
Go ahead.
I don't know. I was just gonna. Now I remember you talking about that, and I think what was important, and that topic came out really well too, because it's based in nostalgia, and I think sentimental value and nostalgia really plays into what I would value in my collection, because I don't have like super valuable games per se. I mean, from a technical standpoint, I have a controller for the original Xbox that's valued at like $250. It's the Green Duke
Whoa!
controller.
Oh
So
wow!
I
I'm
found it at
jealous.
Goodwill, $3.99. Thank you, Metal Jesus, for letting me know.
No way.
I'm like, oh, I will be grabbing this. But from a sentimental standpoint, it's either the original Xbox or my copy of Halo Combat Evolved, because, like, those are two relatively cheap items from a value standpoint, or money standpoint. But personally, like Halo Combat Evolved and Halo 2, although I don't have the original copy for that. Those games really, they were the first games that were kind of mine, and they made me appreciate the value of storytelling, and also like reading the manual and the backstory. It really made me appreciate storytelling, and then it made me go online and start watching stuff like Red versus Blue. And it led me to Achievement Hunter, so it really kind of helped me look for more in games and get more value out of a piece of media, because it was really my piece of media. So that's what I like about it. And of course, the physical object itself is just sentimental because that is the original object. So from a nostalgia standpoint, like if my house was on fire, I mean, after getting family and pets out, if I can grab those, I'll try. But how about you?
Oh man, that's tough. I've been I got my N64 on Christmas Day of 1999 or 2000. It was 1999 because I was in kindergarten. That's how I know. But
Yeah.
it's my probably prized possession in my gaming collection is likely my Jungle Green Funtastic N64. Uh, I I will never part with it, and it has the matching Jungle Green controller as well, and
Nice.
it's it's been through a lot with me, a few moves to college back, and it still works as perfectly as the day it did then, and I still play it pretty regularly. So that's probably on the hardware side of things. That's probably my prized.
Yeah. How's the just real quick? I'm sure the console's holding up well. How is the controller holding up? Like the thumbstick.
So I luckily didn't play much Mario Party as a kid.
Didn't
So
need the
it's
special glove.
no, I didn't. I did not send away a
Yeah.
picture of my palm to get a glove back. But it's holding up pretty well. I actually swapped a better analog stick from a newer controller. Not
Nice.
like an official N64 controller, but it was
Yeah.
less used into it. So it's doing pretty well. Yeah,
Nice.
it's very it's broken and it feels good and it's probably as good as it's gonna get. So
Yeah. You
very
said that's
lucky for that.
on the hardware side. But anything else in your collection?
That's tough. I think like again we're talking about the nostalgic value, which ironically I just made a video about how they're not good, but the N64 ports of Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 through 3, I grew up on those. My
Yeah.
grandma and I played those together, and I am so thankful that I had them because it got me into the Tony Hawk series, which is now one of my favorite series and probably always will be. Um, and I'm really happy to have all three of those, even as probably poorly as they've aged. Uh, I still find fun with them, so I think on the nostalgia side of things, those are them.
Well, yeah, it's like because when you're a kid, you have no point of reference. So, but then you had fun playing them. So
Oh
then
yeah,
you're able. I feel like we all have a like movie or game or something that it's looking back from an objective standpoint. It's like okay, it's bad, but I can still have fun. I have the programming to have fun with this.
yeah, exactly. And like I think it sunk in when I went to a friend's house and played Pro Skater 1 on PS1, just how many features were stripped from the N64 version. But
Yeah.
like I wouldn't trade those memories of playing Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 especially with my grandma. Like we put hours into that.
Yeah, and that those are the value of those memories is so much more than a objectively good game per se. Like the memories is really the value at the end of the day. Like you said, you're not gonna sell it no
Exactly.
matter what. It's you those memories. That the memories are like the fuel for your channel and for your love of the past and nostalgia and old games and such.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would not be here on YouTube or even on this podcast without that Jungle Green N64. So it's kind of brought me to where I am today.
Right, definitely. Well, nostalgia. You got any?
Yeah, I would say besides Jimmy Neutron, I have two more. My original copy of Grand Theft Auto 4, because that's I don't mean to bring up old topics, but that's the copy I played with my dad with. Like, and I know I mentioned this before, but every time I would come home from summer school, I would always play Grand Theft Auto 4 with him, and it was some good times. But another game I would save is Mario Kart Double Dash. Now, this I don't think I told this story, but my older cousin, me and him, we had GameCubes, and we would always trade games. I bought my I bought my copy of Mario Kart Double Dash to his house, and obviously him being a big cousin, he was just like, "Hey, can I borrow your copy of Mario Kart?"
Oh
And
no.
I say borrow with air quotes. And then I'm like, yeah, 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 of course. And I never saw that copy again.
Oh no.
Ah,
However,
motherfucker.
though, when I first started game collecting, I found a copy of Mario Kart, and I am never giving up this copy. I love Mario Kart, and yeah.
The Mario Kart is fucking legendary.
Mm.
How and another story. I would save my original copy of San Andreas.
Oh, good one.
Oh yeah. Under 10 hours. I probably told you this story, but I wasn't allowed to play San Andreas growing up. But of course, I went to my cousin's house, and he wasn't even supposed to have it because he probably got it from his dad or whatever. And we played that shit all fucking night. So I would say Jimmy Neutron, Grand Theft Auto 4, Mario Kart, and San Andreas.
Yeah, I really like your picks too. I think, well, this goes for all of us. Our picks are so much inspired by nostalgia and just those moments and that time and place that you look back on. And I think, well, that's definitely the thing that drives game collecting itself. So it's fitting that we would all have that reason. Like none of us are like, oh well, I bought the stadium events on eBay for $18,000 and it is valuable and I protect it with a laser grid. We're the type of collectors, like we care nostalgia we care about. To stop repeating my point, I'm trying to fucking jungle together. Jungle's not even a word, but I'll throw out the next topic real quick. I want to talk about because we're all YouTubers, right? So I want to talk about who some of your YouTube influences, and they don't have to come from YouTube itself, but what are the things or the people who influence kind of your YouTube career, whether it was starting it or just little techniques and things that you've taken. And under 10 hours, why don't you start?
Okay. Oh man, I've been influenced by a lot of people. So I really didn't get into watching YouTube until Ego Raptor and especially when Game Grumps started. Like I was there on the first day. I for some reason got a notification that Game Grumps was a new channel or something, and I should check it out. So I was there on the first day, and from then on, I was like, I really want to do something on YouTube, and I got the game capture card and really didn't have an idea of what we were doing. I wanted to start a Let's Play channel with my roommate in college, and that really never developed. We were very busy.
Yeah.
He's in law school now, so you can imagine he's pretty
Yeah.
swamped all the time. So what ended up happening was I kind of shelved the idea, and after I graduated from college, what happened was I was sitting at home watching YouTube, and I was like, man, I really want to do something like this because the games that I want to hear about a lot of the time aren't being talked about on YouTube. So I basically sat down with pen and paper and started going through my favorite YouTubers and writing down what I liked about their channels. And so I guess Game Grumps got me into the whole. It got the bug going that I want to do something with YouTube. Obviously, they're a Let's Play channel. I don't do Let's Plays, but that kind of got me into it.
Well, they brought so not to interrupt you, but Game Grumps, from my limited understanding, they brought so much to it that was almost like a podcast in a way. Well, sometimes you didn't even have to watch the game; you could just listen to them tell stories and stuff. So I think Game Grumps definitely brought something more than just a Let's Play.
Yeah, for sure. And in college, my friend group, we would basically all come home from classes and watch the latest Sonic episode that they uploaded. Like that's how into it we were. But post college, creators like Scott the Woz.
Oh yeah, that's one guy who he is greatly talented.
Oh, he's amazing. The stuff that he says and the bits that he does are so out of left field, but make so much sense.
He's got such a charisma and like unique style to him.
Yeah, the person I actually took a lot of inspiration from that actually I think shows in my channel is Mini Me, who's a little bit smaller. When I found him and met him and started talking to him, he was at 40,000 subs.
The name is super familiar. I've seen his stuff, but I just can't remember what it is.
He's the guy who's known for Cars. The Cars games on like the Pixar's Cars.
Yeah.
But he does a lot of other cool stuff too. The Cars thing is pretty memey at this point, but he does a lot of really cool stuff. Like he's going through the Driver series right now. He's done all the handheld ports of the Tony Hawk games. So like for Game Boy Advance, the Underground 2, Underground 1, and Pro Skater 3 ports. He looks at those pretty critically and talks about how those games are really good for what they are. And I literally have a notebook and a piece of paper in that I sent to him and said, I literally watched you taking notes on what I liked about your channel.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mini Me is probably one of my biggest inspirations. I aspire to be Scott the Woz, but that falls pretty short most of the time because you cannot be Scott the Woz for the
Yeah,
most
it's hard
part.
to emulate that style.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So Mini Me's a big one. Scott the Woz is a big one. Game Grumps is a big one. I'm friends with a lot of cool creators like Casey, who does a lot of driving games. She's really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I'm trying to think who else. There's a lot of talented people that I've met through YouTube, and I'm really thankful for that. And I think I've learned a little bit of something from a lot of them, and try to get better each time I make a video because of them. So there's too many people to name, but those are probably the three big ones.
Yeah, there's always a bunch of them, which is just you can brainstorm a list, and then later you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that guy could be added, and that guy." But definitely, for me, I'll name a few. Um, James Rolfe of Angry Video Game Nerd fan
Of course,
fame.
the classics.
Definitely, I love his behind the scenes stuff too, like the making of an AVGN episode. I really love that. He just goes through the process of making honestly, that's one of the videos I'll watch as a pick me up. Like I'll watch that to motivate myself to work, where it's just like yeah, fuck yeah, video creation, practical effects, props, setting up video, writing. Like that's one of the videos I can definitely always fall back on. Influence wise, James Wolfe is definitely up there. Um, I was I didn't watch him back in like the 2000s era, like his so-called height. I found him later on in the early 2010s, I would say. So it's a bit of a late bloomer, but I just love a lot of what James Wolfe brings as an independent filmmaker, so-called. So he's
Mhm.
definitely a big influence on like setting up shots and stuff, and kind of the filmmaking side of some of my videos. Other influences. Well, I'm also influenced by a lot of like like a lot of my influences might come in the form of media too. Like certain, not to trail back to the old topic, but there are certain. I feel like I'm influenced by certain games being part of my childhood too. Like obscure games, games people don't really talk about. Cause a lot of my content I really feel like is influenced by wanting to talk about certain games, whether they're flash games or obscure golf games or games that nobody ever talks about. So I'm not going to go on a whole tangent about underrated games because that's a whole topic in itself. But I definitely have to throw that out. It's like it motivates me to talk about obscure stuff, like obscure plug and plays and stuff that nobody knows about but me.
Mhm.
Other influences I'll throw out. There's this guy on YouTube named Endless Jess who I like. I like how he messes with the formula of a YouTube video itself. Definitely take a lot of influence from that. A lot of my influences definitely come from more of a filmmaking perspective, not directors, but I like people who take the YouTube formula and they try to do something different with it. They
Mhm.
try to mess with the formula itself. So I'm just gonna throw that out as my influences. There's little ones too, like Happy Console Gamer. I'm definitely influenced to make some style, like some videos in the style of his, with like when he just discusses something with a friend. I definitely want to make some videos in that style. Um, there's a lot of influences I have, like we talked about in last podcast, but the famous rapper Eminem. I just take a lot of influence from like trying to perfect one's craft. Like there's certain songs of his I can throw on just as a pick me up also because he's a big that's something I listened to a lot back in childhood. So like looking at the craft of his writing and stuff, and that can definitely motivate me to write. So a lot of this is just like stuff that I can look back on and motivate me to write, like a pick me up. But a lot of it's an influence too. And there's a lot of other names I could throw out. YouTuber Digibro, his writing style back in the day I really liked, and the way he approached YouTube. Not to go on a long list, but I think I'll stick with those for now. How about you, Nostalgia?
Well, first off, I would say YouTube because, well, again, I don't mean to be, what's an appropriate word for it? Like, I don't mean to be a kiss ass or anything like that, but you two are some great YouTubers, man. Like under 10 hours, I would love to do what you do. Like I have trouble I have trouble writing scripts and stuff like whenever I do a YouTube video, I just go off the dome. I just just go ahead and make it. Like right now, I'm trying to write a script for South Park for the N64, but I'm still having a bit of trouble. And Haytham Gruxton, your videos are always hilarious. And whenever I make videos, I feel like I'm just sending facts like, hey, the N64 was released in 1996 to mass appeal and blah blah blah. And I can say like, hey, the N64 was released in 1996 to mass appeal. Of course, there was of course Mario 64, Pilot Wings, all that. Like I want to do a bit more personality based content.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just stating facts. When I want to do more things, but of course when I do more things, I mess up a lot. And that mess up could always just kind of like bring you down or whatever, and then that's what kind of like makes me like quit videos or whatever. Like now, I'm still writing a script for South Park for the N64, and I feel like whenever I say my scripts, it just doesn't come out right. But yeah, you two are one of my inspirations. Another inspiration of mine is retro and rare. He's mostly into video games and hip hop. I'm big into him, and I would say that's mostly it.
Well, I
Well,
appreciate being included in that list. Not to run over what Under 10 Hours was about to say, but I appreciate being on that list. Anybody you can influence, definitely. And well, I appreciate being on the list, I guess, was all my statement.
I was gonna say the exact same thing. Yeah, I really appreciate that. It really means a lot to me. I was gonna say though, not that anyone asked for advice, but I mean, if all the issues you're having can be overcome as long as you just keep going, and as long as you're having fun with it and trying, the pursuit of perfection ruins a lot of things. So as long as you're having fun, you're happy with it, um, the voice, the delivery, that'll all come. I don't think a lot of people know this, but I went to school for journalism, and a lot of that was broadcast related. And I graduated, and I still didn't have a very good recording voice. My first video on Jet Set Radio, my voice is horrible on that. It is so low energy. Um,
Yeah.
you gotta let yourself get some time to really find your voice, find your style, and try some humor that works. If it doesn't work, uh, change the joke, but definitely just keep going because you'll get there.
Yeah, definitely. Like my videos, like before every video is a lot of deleted stuff on Audacity and a lot of retakes and editing out little mouth noises and shit to try to get the audio to sound good. But at the end of the day, yeah, don't worry about perfection too much. Really just try to project a character version of yourself. So if you have to like project a little like personality or like comedy or a little bit of exaggeration, like treat it more as like you're playing the character of yourself and what you want that to be. But also one tip to that's actually helped me recently with scripts, especially like trying to get the script to come out well. Because sometimes when you write the script versus when you deliver it, it's not exactly one on one. So I would treat the script as almost more of an outline, kinda, and feel free to improvise. Because on a lot of my scripts, I'll change lines, I'll improvise on the go as I'm delivering it. So maybe my suggestion for you is maybe write the script more in an outline format versus sentence by sentence. But also just don't be afraid to, throw things away, restart. But at the end of the day, remember that a 6 out of 10 video is better than a video that doesn't exist. So definitely, as you go, it'll get better. I mean, a lot of them are unlisted, but I made hundreds of videos that I would never make today that'll have been uploaded. So
Yeah, we all have our path through this.
yeah, definitely. I mean, and it's super easy to be self-critical too, because I mean, I'll look back on a lot of my videos, and because I'm the guy who made them and had all these ideas in my head, it's super easy to be self-critical of a video, but then other people will like it. So you're your own biggest critic. So sometimes just gotta get it out there and just keep pumping out content. The YouTube is it's a long grind to the top.
Yes, it is. So you might as well have fun along the way.
Yeah, I mean we're all struggling small YouTubers just trying to make our path.
Exactly.
And I will
Exactly.
say, well, I haven't been watching you a while. I take some influence from you under 10 hours, just in the sense like your analytical videos, like your written pieces, is something. It's a type of content I would love to make more of in the future. And so definitely that's pretty influential for me. Like watching your stuff, it's like, oh, I could totally make this style of video on this game. But my issue has always been I try to make like an easy video, but then it becomes a project and I want to keep adding stuff to it, and then it never gets done.
Yeah, understandable. I
But your style is definitely something I'd like to emulate a bit.
I appreciate that. It's yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun talking about video games on the internet. Who knew?
Yeah, definitely. And nostalgia, my suggestion for you is to maybe get into some live action content. Like you don't have to show your face, but you vlogging, it can come out pretty well too off the cuff. So I'd like make that game room tour video. That'll get a lot of views. That's my suggestion. Like maybe do some live action stuff. Like, you don't have to show your face, but like live action stuff might be the way to go too.
hmm
Yeah, like I want to do a game tour. It's just that I'm feeling on I'm filming on the iPhone 10X, and I don't think the quality is gonna come out good.
Hey, you'd be very surprised. A lot of my live action stuff is on my Pixel 2. And it does a pretty serviceable job. So, I mean, from what I hear from every creator who has gotten started somewhere, it's use what you have and don't worry too much about that. Just try to make what you can control the best it can be. So if you've got an iPhone, maybe go in afterwards, affect the exposure, lighting, and color in that. But just, I would say use what you got and get started.
Yeah, right. Like quantity sometimes is more important than quality. Like sometimes, like on YouTube, there's videos of mine that I'd consider almost filler content, where it's like this is good enough and it's going up. It's not the big video, it's not the well edited. It's entertaining though. Like I feel like getting the video out there is more important than if it will never exist. Like yes, and I'm bad about this. Weeks will go by without me making a video. So don't emulate my actions, but emulate my advice. And just yeah, quantity. I mean, obviously you don't want to dip too low, but
Mhm.
maybe you can walk around your game room and make some like 5-minute vlogs like on different things. Like this is like maybe you could just film like a Super Nintendo or a console and maybe just cut a vlog about it, like what you like about it off the cuff and upload that, and that could get a lot of views and that could come out well.
Yeah, I can confirm that. Sometimes you just got to get something out there to make sure you're sharp. For instance, that Cruisin' USA video that you said you liked, that was out of desperation because I couldn't finish Paper Mario in time.
Oh
So,
yeah, that's
so
yeah.
I made that video. I played the game and made the video in about 4 hours because I was rushing it out. So I'm glad. I'm glad it wasn't horrible. But yeah.
Yeah.
That video actually. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Oh, it's okay. I'm thinking about doing a similar thing because like again, I really want to do the South Park for the N64 video, but I don't know, man. Like I want to do something similar to AVGN, like I like N64, but this video game was fucking ass. Or or how was this fucking made? Like I kind of want to parody AVGN a little bit, but with the way I sound and the way I act, it's just not gonna come out right. So I'm thinking about making a video about how Grand Theft Auto 3 just doesn't hold up. Like I've played the game recently and it was not good.
That's an interesting take that I don't hear too often, but I agree.
I think I agree too. Like the compared to what came after, doesn't hold up as well. The lack of voice acting and like all the weird thing, like what's the main character, and like they definitely improved on it. But I would say also don't be afraid of remaking videos. If you make a video now, make it the best you can, and you can always come back years later and remake the video.
Yeah, for sure. Do like an anniversary video where you go back and figure out what you don't like about it and make the video you wanted to make in the first place.
Yeah. YouTube is like, and also remember, like I think I speak for Under 10 Hours too, where it's like, we put out a lot of videos, but we didn't include everything we wanted to, maybe, or it wasn't where we wanted it in our head. So you're always gonna have like little self critiques and stuff, but
Mhm.
you just gotta get it out.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think this section's good for anybody to listening who's trying to do YouTube. That
Yeah,
a
for
lot
sure.
like not a lot of YouTubers will talk about like the audio track before editing versus after and all that, but there's a lot of problems that other people have to go through too, that even if they don't talk about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely some advice.
Yeah, and I think the last thing I'll leave anybody on is if you want to get into YouTube, just even if it's a 1 minute video, like just getting the first one out of the way is like a breath of fresh air, and you'll feel
Yeah.
so confident going forward that like you just got to get over the first step and you can really get started with it.
Yeah, and also we don't want to linger on this topic too long, but one thing I'll throw out real quick too is even if the video you put out now won't get a lot of views, you can also think about it as in the future when I do have a lot of people, they will go back to this video.
Hmm.
So you can think about it as a long-term game of building up your catalog or library. That way, when the one video does blow up, people can go through and watch the other ones.
Hmm. Exactly.
Definitely. Well, nostalgia. You have anything else to say on the topic?
Um, no, I would say to agree with the Under 10 Hours point. When you get your first video done, you are gonna feel confident, and I would just say, get that first video out there, whether it's a minute, 2 minutes, an hour, whatever. Just get it out there. You're gonna feel confident at first. Just put out more videos. I mean, sure, I may release a video like every month or so, but fuck it, at least I can get them out.
Hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And you're good about like you've kept to that weekly schedule really well.
I try.
Yeah. It's difficult. You miss 1 week and then you fall off. I almost had a schedule and then the Wi-Fi company fucked up and that was months ago and I never got
Ah,
back on.
oh no.
Yeah. I tried and then my computer broke for a half a year, so what?
Dang.
Yeah, the fun of YouTube. It's fun, but it's a grind.
Yes, it is a grind
All
for
right,
sure.
is
All
it okay
right,
if I
and this,
throw out a topic?
yeah, I was about to suggest for
All
a
right.
topic.
Is and can there be an end to game collecting? Like,
You know?
is there eventually going to be like an ending to game collecting?
Hey, so I cut out for a sec.
Was the question that are we ever going to stop collecting, or is video game collecting going to be a dead thing?
Yeah, I
No,
didn't hear the
no, 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 no,
question.
no.
I cut out.
Oh,
Oh, is there going to be an end to game collecting? Like, does game collecting have an end? Like, are we ever gonna stop game collecting?
I would say yes, but well, I'll just elaborate real quick. I do believe there will be an end to game collecting for a few reasons that they all center around time.
Well,
However,
well,
yeah,
I I meant to say like personally, like are you gonna ever stop collecting original Xbox games, or under 10 hours? Are you gonna stop collecting N64 games eventually?
So what's funny is the last few months, since I've been between jobs, I've tried to stop collecting, but then I'll think of a game and I'm like, I kind of need to get that before the value goes up, so I'm just gonna get this, or I'm just gonna get this, and I feel like now that I have more time than ever, I've been collecting more. I I think there will be a point where I'm happy with my collection and will stop seeking as many things out. Because once I have one copy of most games that I want, I probably won't be seeking them out. But if I'm in the area of like a video game store, I'll probably go and check things out. And it probably I probably won't ever stop entirely, but I think it'll stop being as active for me once I guess reclaim the collection I once had for the original Xbox and the N64. Less so for the N64 because I've never really sold anything from the N64. But I don't know. It's tough because in the early 2010s I was pretty outside of gaming and I really wasn't collecting anything. And then once the Switch came around, I like got into it more than anything, and then went back and played all the classics on my old system. So I don't know. I can't really predict my future. As of now, I doubt I'll ever stop collecting video games, but there are definitely dry spells where I collect less.
yeah. I'd say for me, my my game collecting is so sporadic because it'll be like I don't buy games that often. A lot of like my original Xbox collection was built up from years of being a child going to Goodwill, Value Village, and getting the 2.99 deals. So a lot of it's been built up from that. But as my buying habits right now is, well, I'll buy a game occasionally for the reason of reviewing it or something, and I don't buy games that often because I don't make enough money to really be collecting per se. So a period of my life where like I'll get enough money, I'll come into a lot of money, and then tons of packages will be coming. I'll be building up the collection, buying new consoles. It's difficult to buy a console because you have to justify that much money. So my game collection is relatively small. So I don't think I'll ever stop adding to it, but there's always months that go by where I don't add. And then eventually, I guess like 20 years from now, I don't know if there'll be an official cutoff date. It'll kind of depend on like the longevity of games and hardware. Will disc rot be a big issue? Will old consoles like original Xbox and stuff with disc reading lasers and stuff, if they all stop working and there's like a cutoff point where only cartridge using consoles really, then that'll probably impact my collecting, of course, too. So it's kind of a combination of we'll wait and see how time fails to hold well and games, and also it's so sporadic for me anyway that there will come times where I'll collect again. But like, I don't know if there'll be a cutoff point or not. It's hard to tell with technology too. If they release a box that can 3D print any controller instantly in front of you with an AI in it and can play any game perfectly, then who knows? But so wait and see. How about you, Nostalgia?
Well, personally, like games wise, probably not. Console wise, yeah, there's eventually going to be a cutoff date. Like realistically, I'm going to be playing games down to the NES era. Generation 2 and Generation 1 consoles, I'm probably just going to put them on a shelf or whatever. But when it comes to collecting games, I feel like I feel like I'm gonna stop with certain consoles. Like the GameCube. I started off with getting every game I had as a kid for the GameCube, and I feel like I've mostly completed that. But if I see a good GameCube game, am I gonna pass it up? No. And I feel like it's like what you said, Haytham. Like I'll go a month or two without collecting anything, and then I'll start buying games. So, oh wow, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that, and eventually I might find it. Eventually, I might remember a video game, and I'm gonna want to get it. But
Yeah.
console wise, I'm eventually gonna have to stop at the NES because my TV can't run Atari 2600 or Fairchild Channel F.
You got to get the tube TV, man.
Yeah, so I've been looking up on eBay
Oh
for
no, you don't get it on eBay. The shipping price will destroy you.
Yeah, you gotta find it local.
Value
man.
Village, get one of the tiny ones.
See, finding it local is gonna be tough. Like, I asked my grandparents if they had one. They were like, no. Now, I just don't really know where to look besides good ones because I want one with like a VHS player, but all the tube TVs I find are just like regular tube TVs.
Well, keep looking. Eventually, there'll be a small one at Value Village, and
Yeah.
that's the one to get.
Yes, for sure. Or Goodwill or something like that.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
the back to the game collecting though, am I ever really gonna officially stop? No, but eventually, there's gonna come an end.
Yeah.
That's understandable.
Yeah, plus, I mean, I feel like once you have what you really want to, like, there's the type of collector who will never stop buying because they probably have a problem or they literally can't stop buying. And then they'll reach a point, probably for a lot of us, where it's like, we got pretty much everything we need. I mean, if we come across the game, we'll buy it, but we're not actively searching. And I think that'll probably be the fate of a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's just wait and see where things go.
Plus, I mean, I don't mean to get sentimental, family values, all that shit, but I guess kind of like the main goal is to have the kid and just show them, hey, this is the games I played, or hey, this is the games that your auntie played, or that your uncle played. Just
Yeah.
just to pass it down to my kid. I'll play with the GameCube. He's probably gonna play with the GameCube in whatever Switch releases next. And eventually, when I go one day, I want to hand off my collection to him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's definitely one aspect that's cool. Is teaching the youth kinda and like showing them and having them have that experience is definitely, especially like if you can sit them down with the original hardware, that's an experience they might not be able to get elsewhere. Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And that is one benefit of keeping them around. Like I like and you'll appreciate this under 10 hours. I said in one of my videos one time, if you want to be the cool uncle, sit your niece and nephew down and play Mario Kart 64 with them on the original hardware. Battle mode, block
Yes.
foot. It's the most fun you can ever have.
Yeah, for sure. I cannot wait for that day where I'm playing video games that I've had since I was a kid with my kids.
Yeah, definitely. Like the fellow YouTuber IO Retro Gamer Dad, like he was showing his kid the Magnavox Odyssey 2, and watching that video, I was just thinking to myself, he's the only kid of that age who's played that hardware this year and like on the globe. Like that's a very real possibility. Like how many 8-year-olds are playing the Magnavox Odyssey 2? Like
Yeah, or have the means to do so.
yeah. Like, I don't, yeah, the second gen of not to go on a side tangent, but the second gen of gaming is definitely something I'm always interested in collecting at some point. It's fascinating, but I don't have $350 for a Fairchild Channel F. So
Yeah. or $1,000 for an Earthbound complete in box.
Yeah, I'll wait for 8 decades when I'm old and that game's cheap again.
One can only hope.
Yeah. Well, under 10, you got any more topics written down?
I don't. I was very underprepared for this episode.
Oh, that's all good. Nostalgia, you got any topics written down?
Yeah. So this is kind of a weird one. Can a game be like too popular, too overhyped? Like for an example, Animal Crossing or Grand Theft Auto 5. Like a bunch of kids play Grand Theft Auto 5 and a bunch of kids play Animal Crossing, and these games have very very large communities. So like, can a game be like, I don't know, too hype? I guess.
Do you want to go first, or should I?
Yeah, I'm trying to formulate. Because I think, like, they're in a way, maybe, like, it can be maybe obnoxious to hear about a game too much, or maybe, like, a game can dominate, like, the gaming conscious too much. Like, you hear about it everywhere, everyone's making videos on it, and it kind of overshadows other games. I think that's a possibility. But
Yeah,
overall, I don't think it's much of a problem. Like, I think a lot of people hate hearing about games like Fortnite, but honestly, it's not really a problem. And I mean, a big player base is overall good for a game.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to Animal Crossing, they're like, I've never really played the GameCube version, and if you listen to the last podcast, I actually ran into the GameCube version, but just always like as soon as I open up Instagram, hey, Animal Crossing this, Animal Crossing that, and I mean it's good because it brought a lot of people to the Switch, and it's probably gonna bring a lot of people to different games. But just always hearing about Animal Crossing, I'm like, yeah, the game's fun. I just don't know
Yeah.
why everybody's so fascinated over it. You know, like again, I love the game. You get to grow your own town, hang out with your villagers. It's fun. But
Mhm.
Yeah.
people always be like, "Oh, hey, get Raymond. All of these other villagers are ugly." Or "Hey, get Marshall. All these villagers," and it just gets ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I think part of the problem is separating the game from the community. And when a game, especially like Animal Crossing, where everyone is just like essentially pursuing the same thing, trying to get Raymond, and like it's the only thing anybody talks about, the community makes it a lot less approachable for other people because
Right.
nobody else is in on the joke. Um, and I feel like questionable communities can take a pretty bad toll on things. Like you mentioned Fortnite. I've been playing Fortnite with my friends lately because it's just one way for us to hang out without having to be
Yeah.
together. And I feel like that game is very hated on when if you remove the community around it and how it's like stereotypically a bunch of kids playing Fortnite. That game is really impressive that they've gone for 2 years and really every 10 weeks just add new content that changes things entirely. And they're
I
always
agree.
adding and changing things. Like it's impressive. Like I don't think Fortnite's the greatest game in the world, but Epic keeps it fresh and new, and
Yeah.
even though it's well past its prime, it's still really crazy.
I agree with you on Fulton. I actually am removed now because it wasn't that good in retrospect. But I actually did make a video one time kind of defending Fortnite, where it's just like the popularity of it and maybe people again being annoyed about hearing about it constantly. They'll shit on the game, whereas the actual game quality's not bad. And speaking of big community, I actually think the opposite effect can happen where like good or bad depending on your opinion of it. And I have played much of the game, but I think a community can keep a game relevant longer than it might have been. Like a game like Undertale, for instance,
Hmm.
quality or not, the game has a beginning and end, but in replayability factor, but the community being around it and making artwork and drawings and talking about it really kept the game relevant and kept it going even if the actual game itself, maybe people wouldn't have constantly replayed and talked about for years on end. But the community itself self-perpetuates the relevance of said title.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, on the opposite side of that, Fallout 76 is still going,
Yeah.
and people defend that game. And it's like, to me, I'm incredibly frustrated and disappointed about Fallout 76. And to a point, I believe you should totally play what you enjoy playing. You shouldn't let anybody tell you what to play or not to play. But
Yeah.
I feel like the longer that player base stays around, the longer it's going to be before we get an actual Fallout game.
Yeah, as long as they keep making the money from it.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, that's the opposite side of the spectrum where,
Yeah.
like, even though a game is hated, it still has defenders, um, even when the game itself is not particularly good. But I think a game's quality needs to be independent of the discussion around it.
I agree. Like you keep seeing it like Five Nights at Freddy's. Don't get me wrong. I think they probably made too many of them, and from an
Mhm.
outside perspective, however, the amount that game was brought up made people hate it and memes about it and such. But at the end of the day, when I look at like Five Nights at Freddy's 1 from an outside perspective, I'm like, oh, that's a clever concept. Like it's relatively simple in design.
Yeah.
That's a nice game. That's an interesting concept. It's got some interesting ideas behind it. Like, but I feel like the largest of the amount it's talked about makes some people hate it. Whereas if you just look at the game objectively for what it is a lot of times you could take a middle of the road approach of like, yeah, that game's not for me, but it's a good game.
Yeah, I think the moral of the story is you can like something, you can defend something, but as soon as a community starts shoving it down people's throats, they're gonna have a negative reaction to it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, on nostalgia, I don't know if you have anything else to say on the subject.
Uh, no, not really. I mean, it's similar to Fallout 76. It's just like GTA 5, man. I know a lot of people don't like to hear it, but companies listen when you don't give them your wallets. So like, let's just
Hmm.
say a kid buys 500 shark cards, buys all the motorcycles, buys all the cards, buys all the cars. Rockstar hears that, and as long as that kid keeps on buying a bunch of crap, they're not gonna release GTA 6. You know, so
Yeah.
I feel like certain communities need to die in
Well,
order.
the issue, yeah, I'll just say the issue is like even if the community dies, a lot of what funds those is the so-called whales, like the small amount of people who will spend like 90% of the money on microtransactions and stuff.
Hmm.
So it's just, the sad reality is we're gonna have to deal with this for a long time.
Yeah, I that's a whole other thing with microtransactions.
Yeah.
Like Madden, for instance, which is a series that is very close to my heart, is a dumpster fire of a game. Like it is nowhere
Yeah.
near genuine simulation of football, but like the players who really are passionate about it and really want a good product aren't the ones dumping the money into Ultimate Team.
Right.
And to me that's so frustrating because you can vote with your wallet and not buy it, but their money doesn't come from sales anymore. It comes from the endless amount of repeat buyers.
Right.
So,
Well,
yeah,
the issue too, there's no competition for Madden because they got that NFL monopoly. So
that
like
is
you can
a
make a
whole other
football
thing.
game, but bring back 2K.
Well, so
Those are the football
2K
games.
is 2K secured the NFL Player Association license, so whatever they're coming out with next year, even though
Oh,
it's
did
not
they?
a quote unquote simulation, it's going to have real NFL teams and players, which
Well,
is
that's
Actually,
good.
really exciting.
actually though, did you hear about the bullshit 2K's doing about 2K21 with the video game on the PS5 or whatever?
Yeah, I did.
It the shit's again. I don't mean to keep on going. I don't mean to bring up old topics, but it's getting ridiculous at this point. You know.
Yeah, it's just like I really think the issue is microtransactions make money, and the issue too is and we saw this with like when a company like Sierra went from private to public. The issue is when you're a publicly traded company and you're the CEO of the company, legally your job is to make money for shareholders. So if the CEO of Activision, like even if he understood that the issues with the greed and stuff, he couldn't convince the shareholders because the shareholders would say, "Well, billions and billions have been made from microtransactions every year. How can you justify stopping it?" And then what's the answer? So I think that's the real problem. Is sadly the minority of people who buy the games, they make enough revenue that it's kind of we're kind of fucked either way. The publicly traded companies, I don't know what the answer is. Like,
although I
it's
guess
kind of fucked.
I guess the good thing is CD Projekt Red. I guess CD Projekt Red is gonna kick some ass in November.
Yeah, if it doesn't get delayed again.
Well, I mean, it's close to the release of the PS5, so there's really no reason they should delay it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sure it's going to be great, though, regardless of when it comes out. It's going to be really good.
I just hope I can run it. Because having it run on, like, this gen of hardware I feel like those versions are going to be real scaled back compared to the quote-unquote true game.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a watered-down experience.
Yeah. Only time will tell. It's a good concept, though, definitely. I just hope they create like a interesting enough environment. Like a lot of open world games are filled with a lot of emptiness.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, believe me, CD Projekt Red, they're gonna do it fucking right, man. After what I've been hearing, I'm really excited for it. Like I already know what my character's gonna be. I already know what my trait is gonna be. I am excited for Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it certainly looks interesting. These days it's hard to get excited about any game, but I'm definitely intrigued.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And nostalgia, I don't know if you have any more topics. I've got some more written down.
Nah, I don't have so much stuff, so go ahead.
I'm gonna take us in a different direction from gaming. Favorite movies. What are some of your favorite movies? Under 10, you can start.
Oh, that's tough. I really like The Matrix, the first Matrix, and then none of the others. um, that's not exactly a controversial take that the other two aren't very good. Fight Club is really good. Really like Fight Club. I grew up watching The Breakfast Club, so lots of club movies apparently. Just Back to the Future, Die Hard, basically all the classics from the 80s. I'm a really 80s person, which based off of my based off my channel, old things I like old things is not exactly surprising. Lately, what have I watched that I've really liked? I watched Knives Out, which was awesome. That was a ton of fun.
Yeah, I meant to watch that, I believe, but I just never got to it. The dreaded backlog.
Yep, the dreaded backlog. I unfortunately missed out on a lot of movies as a kid. I watched more TV than anything.
Yeah.
So I've really been trying the last few years to go back and see what I watched. Oh, Goodfellas. Goodfellas was amazing. I watched that over quarantine with my girlfriend, and that movie is amazing. I love that. And I'm not a big period piece movie fan, but Goodfellas was excellent.
Yeah. But it definitely seems like you've gone back with a lot of the movies, like check out the past ones and stuff. It's fitting for the 80s since the 80s spawned like so many iconic influential movies.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'd say for me, um favorite movies kind of brainstorming because it's like there's certain movies in a franchise, but if you want to take an individual movie out, like if I like the Star Wars franchise overall, it's hard to pick a specific movie. Like, and a lot of people would say Empire Strikes Back. I like Return of the Jedi. I think it's just fun. So I'd have to include that, I guess, on the top 10. But other movies I've been thinking about, I actually really like Starship Troopers 1. I know it's cheesy, but I think that's kind of the point of Starship Troopers 1. I like the cheesiness of it, and I like the action and just the overall story. And also, what's interesting is Cinemassacre talked about Starship Troopers 1. There's a lot of underlying elements to Starship Troopers that like talks about the society and stuff. There's a lot to that movie. Um, Also, in the same vein of cheesiness, I actually think one popular movie that doesn't get enough credit is the first Scream movie. Um, the first Scream movie is like the quintessential breakdown of horror films, like all the tropes and stuff. I just thought it was really well executed, and much like The Matrix, Scream One, nothing after it. Avoid the sequels. Same with Starship Troopers. Those two movies I definitely throw out. I'm just kind of brainstorming stuff I've been watching recently, and like this one I look back on films. I'd throw those two out. Not childhood movies, but I have to give a shout out, and I'm not saying the movie holds up per se. The Polar Express. Um, Legendary movie in my childhood. I spent years wanting to watch it. I built it up in my head as this mythical event. The movie, looking back, has weird animation things, but I have to give a shout out as a influential movie of my childhood. So I'd
That is
throw those
understandable.
out. Definitely give credit to those. And how about you in nostalgia? You got any more? Like, I think we discussed this before, but I can't really remember what you said in the past.
Um, well, of course, Back to the Future, classic stuff like that. But I'm a big fan, and I know it's gonna be a kind of a sensitive thing, but gangster flicks, Boys in the Hood, Menace to Society, just
Yeah.
just cool stuff like that. But besides that, I'm kind of into more or less the '80s stuff. Back to the Future. I can't think of the name of it. I can't think of the name of it. It's a real famous one. It's this one where the kid takes his day off with his friends. They take out a Ferrari.
Oh, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Classic. Love that one.
And of course, some another favorite movie of mine is Half Baked from with Dave Chappelle. Let's see.
That's a good one.
Uh, Hera and Kumar go to White Castles,
Yeah, that's a classic too.
and there's this other stoner movie. I can't. Cheech and Chong. Something goes up in smoke. That's a classic movie. Warriors. Just
Oh,
a
the
few.
Warriors. That's
Just a
next
few
level.
Warriors,
Love it.
come
classic
out and
movies.
play.
Um,
Love
Yeah,
that.
definitely.
and then when it comes to like animation stuff, I would say a few classic ones. Toy Story 1 and 2. I don't really like 3 too much. Of course, Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius for the VHS. Ice Age. Just a bunch of basic movies that I like.
Yeah, definitely. All those movies are definitely classics too.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely all classics, I think. And also sometimes I think some classic movies still don't get enough love, even if they're a classic. So it's always good to reiterate why they're great.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Definitely. And we could probably do this topic for TV shows too. I'm not sure if you guys want to do that. Just get them out there.
I'm down.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Favorite TV shows.
Oh,
Under 10,
yeah.
you could start, like, we're going clock rotation.
All right.
Okay. I really like Breaking Bad. That's probably one of my favorite serious shows. I'm not a big like serious TV show kind of person, but that show just kept me guessing the whole time. I loved how you went from liking Walter White to just hating him by the
Yeah.
end of it. I love Jesse Pinkman. I think his character's amazing. Um, Especially when they did El Camino, the spin-off movie, that kind of showed what happened after the finale. I won't spoil it or anything because it's relatively new, but still totally worth watching. It was like the perfect ending. Um, I really like a lot of sitcoms. Scrubs is one of those shows I've watched multiple times, except for the final season. uh,
I used to watch that show back in the day. I can't really remember much from it, but I liked it back in the day.
it's really good. It's a show with a lot of heart, and it's very funny a lot of the time, and
Yeah.
definitely worth watching. Um, what have I watched lately? I watched Glow, The Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, with my girlfriend. That show is very fun. I would argue you don't even have to like wrestling to like that show because the characters are just so good on it, and it's just consistently funny. They've got one final season coming at some point that has been postponed because of the virus,
Yeah.
but that show's going to get a final season at some point, probably next year. And I'm very looking forward to that because they left us off on a lot of cliffhangers on the final episode of 2. So I would highly recommend that show. That show's great. Um, Trying to figure out what I've watched lately. What have I watched lately? I think that might be it. Oh, I've been watching.
I'm
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, I'm sure there's tons and tons you'll keep thinking of.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sure
there's
I'll think of
so many.
25 things later on. Oh, Community. Community is all-time favorite for sure. That show is so creative. And Donald Glover is like one of my favorite people in the world, so seeing him
Yeah,
there is so good because he is hilarious.
yeah, definitely. It's that
Yeah, that's probably it. I should.
it for now, right? Out
Yeah,
of
that's it
the
for now.
giant list.
I'll
Well,
think of
there's
a
still
million
is
things
so
later.
many. Yeah, I'll throw out some of mine. Right, this is like the cliff notes, the most important slash what you can think of right now. Uh, throw out some of mine. Um, the first one is anime, but very influential to Adult Swim in the West. Cowboy Bebop. Big fan of Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop's great because it's the spaghetti western, so it blends sci-fi and a western, and it's really just about this crew vaguely united, but kind of the backstory is how they got there and where they're going. Cowboy Bebop, its music is great, its animation's great. I actually like the dub better than the subtitled version for it, and it's one of the most influential Adult Swim shows too, and it's partly responsible for the success of Adult Swim, and obviously later the Toonami programming block that has had a lot of influence in the West. So I have to throw Cowboy Bebop out there. Star Wars: The Clone Wars was a big childhood show of mine. It doesn't get enough credit because it's hard to convince people to sit through a show. And the
Hmm.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars season 1 and 2 were very kid focused. But what's interesting about the show is it almost kind of aged with its audience a bit. Well, season 3 onward, the show got very mature, and they also blended the line of PG-13, I believe, really well. Like it showed people dying and stuff, so it took a mature take, and it really gave humanity and personality to the clone troopers that you didn't see in the prequels. But they get a lot of personality, and especially some of the later seasons of that show are really well done. And they don't elevate the quality of the prequels, but they give context that can make them a little more appreciable. So I definitely want to give a shout out to Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Better than people think. For sitcoms and live action stuff, the two like comedic sitcoms that I'd probably say are the top two of all time. Obvious one, Seinfeld. Seinfeld, I'm not like a huge I haven't seen every episode, but my mom used to watch it a lot on TV. And Seinfeld is a sitcom that the quality of it and the writing, I really think Seinfeld is probably, like, without doubt, the best comedic sitcom of all time. Like, it's the show about nothing, and it's very relatable,
Mhm.
and it almost strikes the nerve that a sitcom needs to. Like, famous scenes like waiting for food, waiting in line for something, and then somebody gets seated before you, and you could have sworn they came after you. Like little things in life that are relatable. And also, I want to give a shout out to The Office. The Office is really well written. The Office is interesting because it seems like it should be a comedy, but there's an underlying sadness to The Office because it's about this paper company, and the paper company, it's in an industry that's dying, and you kind of get the feeling that everyone there is kind of trapped and not where they want to be in life. And there really is an underlying sadness to The Office that, I mean, it gives the show a certain level of humanity. And the show is really good too about like going back and forth between sad moments and comedic moments. Like it never gets too sad, but it's not too silly either. So like there'll be a tender moment where the character Michael is hugging Pam and it's all sad, but then she feels something in his pants, but it turns out it's a candy bar in there, but she thinks it's a boner. So it quickly jumps back to a comedic scene, and it's very well at balancing that, at least until the last two seasons where it falls off. So I want to give a shout out to those full shows, and again, there's a lot more I could think of, but out of the top of my head, if I had to combine like nostalgia and also like undeniable quality, I think those shows I can throw out without contention. I'm gonna go with those picks. How about you, nostalgia?
Well, recently I've been watching Trailer Park Boys on Netflix, and I absolutely love this show. It's about three hillbillies from Canada trying to sell drugs at a trailer park, and it is hilarious.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that show.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I honestly love Trailer Park Boys. Another show I've been watching recently is Everybody Hates Chris. That is a childhood classic to me. Basically, it's this kid version of Chris Rock that's growing up in the '80s, and he's always getting in trouble. Let's see. Another show of it, well, not really a show, but more or less a cartoon, is King of the Hill. Now,
Oh yeah, King of the Hill is great.
yeah, I love King of the Hill, man. That is a great show.
Yeah, King of the Hill it's really well written, realistic comedy. King of the Hill, it does not get the credit it deserves for the level of
No, it
quality it
doesn't.
really is.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
Yeah, it's
love
great.
King of the Hill. Besides that, I would say, let's see. Besides that, I would say I've been mostly watching, '90s cartoons. Ren and Stimpy, Rocko's Modern Life, just basic stuff.
Yeah, all the classic like Nickelodeon shows and Cartoon
Yeah.
Network, just the classics of the '90s.
Yep. It's always nice to It's always nice to rewatch old stuff from the '90s. Like, again, I know I mentioned this in my video, but they got away with a lot of shit. Like, there's a lot of adult jokes I didn't even know was there at the time. But
Yeah, definitely, and like Ren and Stimpy, especially,
yeah, but
they really toted that line.
that's basically everything I've been watching.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I don't know if anybody has any more topics they want to throw. I got a whole list, but hold back.
Now throw out another one.
Well, I can't throw out the whole list, though.
Well, I mean, like, just
Yeah,
throw
I know.
throw out an interesting topic, I guess. Throw out a topic that none of us have mentioned in the podcast before.
Why I look for a topic? Couple the dead ale for about 25 seconds. Somebody
right.
say something.
I'm gonna I'll be
Okay.
right back actually. So I will be right back.
All right.
Oh shit. Okay, I guess I'm the only one then. All right. Well, hello there, YouTube. It is I, Nostalgia. How you guys doing? I hope you guys are doing good out there, man. This world is fucking crazy, and
All right, I
you
found
know.
my top.
All right.
We'll wait for him to get back.
Yep. So, yeah, this world is fucking crazy, and you know, if if you have the money, invest in property and ammo, because again, the world is fucking insane, and
Yeah.
protect you and yours. Just protect you and your family, and that's my life tip. That's my life tip for the day.
Nobody attacked the satellites that make Wi-Fi happen. I need Wi-Fi.
Yes. And please, for the love of God, writers, please don't go to the farms because that's how we eat. Don't attack the cows because they don't agree with your agenda. I'm sorry to get political, but yeah, just saying.
All right, we are approaching deadly territory.
Yep. Okay. So I guess back to gaming.
Well, I'm waiting for him to get back. Yeah, I think our topic. Anybody find any cool rocks outside? Something stupid like that.
um, you know what? I woke up like really early this morning, and I ate a muffin, and it was good. It was good.
We should probably just edit. Like, we should probably just clip out all this audio between him leaving and coming back.
Yeah, sorry, I'm back.
Oh, okay.
My my doorbell rang, so I had to go make sure that it wasn't anything too pressing.
All right. I got one topic that I think will be fitting. What is a uh, game series? Or it can be a genre if you can't think of a series. What is a game series that you just can't get into? Like you've tried, but you just can't get into it.
World of Warcraft. That's a difficult one.
Yeah. I always wanted to get into World of Warcraft, but like I missed the prime of it too. And then like if it's as addicting as people say, it's probably best to avoid that time sink.
Yeah, I agree. MMOs in general for me are very hard to get into.
Yeah, it's hard to get like invested in the story. So and it's just like I like if a game has good gameplay or narrative, that can keep me invested, but it's hard to get that in an MMO. I did play a lot of Wizards 101 back in the day. I got a game, a series I've always wanted to get into, but the time mechanics of it have kind of prevented me from ever really getting into it. Although I give it a shot every few years. The Dead Rising games, Dead Rising
Oh,
1 and 2, the time mechanics and the survivors, uh, they're annoying. But I want to love the game. I want to love it so much, but it's just difficult. Something about it just doesn't click.
Yeah, I can understand that. I like those games. I love the first one, but I could understand why the time mechanic is tough.
Again, I really like the gameplay. I like the creativity of it. I think the game's objectively all really good. It's just for me, the time mechanic and stuff. It's like sometimes you feel too pressured to like multiple objectives are going away soon. So it's like it's hard to have fun. It's like the pressure of it.
Hmm.
But then I understand why you would want a well-structured game. And if it wasn't structured at all, you could probably just grind and farm until you're at an insane level and then go and beat the game. So it makes sense to have that structure. And then, of course, Dead Rising 3 and 4 will, well, at least in my opinion, a step down.
Yeah, for sure.
You got any?
Outside of MMOs, I that's the one I've never been able to do.
Yeah, they look cool. Like as a kid, they always look so cool, but then in practice, getting into it was difficult.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
for sure.
also I'll throw out like visual novel games too. They don't look fun. They look boring. You agree? You ever play a visual novel?
I So I didn't think I would like them, and then I played Phoenix Wright and liked that. I didn't finish that one, but the Danganronpa series I adore. I love that because it's a visual novel, but it's also like a murder mystery, whodunit kind of game.
Yeah, those ones do look interesting. But I feel like the ones that put like that twist on it, but like there's a lot of like the straight visual novel games. But yeah, the Danganronpa ones I've heard good things about. Like that's the one that and Phoenix Wright actually. Funny enough, those are the two that I've always been like, well, if I was gonna try again, these look like the ones to try.
Yeah, for sure. I highly recommend Danganronpa because it's super dark and it's just very how do I even say it? It's fun, it's engaging, and it constantly has you guessing what's going to happen next because every time you think you figure it out, it changes it up on you.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah, it's well designed and keeping that pace that keeps you invested.
Yeah, for sure.
But definitely, nostalgia. How about you? Got any more besides the MMO?
Um, nah, well, yeah, there is one more. It's like the 2K series and a Madden series. Like even before they went bad, they were just difficult to get into, man. Like it's weird. The games seemed cool, but I'd rather, play basketball and football than in real life than just play in a video game. Like those always seemed hard to get into even before they were bad.
Yeah, like the Madden games. Like I don't know football, so like understanding like which play I should go with is always what fell off for me. It's like it was like a guessing game for me. Where it's like I don't know what play to go with. So I'm just gonna hit random ones until I can run around the field.
Yeah, it's a game where you really have to kind of know football to get it
Yeah,
going because I mean, it says it's a simulation and the physics don't agree with that, but you still have to know football pretty well to at least even try to get good at it. It took me years to get a stop on defense.
yeah, and it's like it's one of those games where if you understood it, it looks really fun. Like if you and a friend both understand all the plays and stuff, I could see the fun in it. Definitely, it's just yeah, as a guy who does not, I know the basics of football, but that's it. The very basics. None of the nothing in the middle of the rules.
Yeah,
So
I
figuring
gotcha.
out the plays. I'm looking at the lines, trying to figure out who's who, and it's just like again the guessing game until I can control someone on the field. Just hope for the best. Try to get the touchdown. But
Yeah.
yeah, again, I think the Madden games are definitely if you get football, they'll fool you. But if you don't get football, the football game is not going to work for you.
Yeah, definitely not.
But
Definitely
like,
not.
yeah, nothing against the games. Like, I know some people might, meme about them or something, but nothing wrong with sports games. It's just it's for a certain person. Definitely. Well, gentlemen, think it's come time to conclude this episode.
All right. Well,
But
it's been fun. Thank you for having me.
well,
Yeah, no problem.
yeah, no problem. We've enjoyed you, and definitely anytime you want on in the future, we'd love to have you back again.
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you got an opening, just shoot me a message and we'll try to make it happen.
And again,
All
this
right.
was first time talking, so we had to find the chemistry and stuff. Usually it's a bit more structured than this. Before we go, in typical conclusion fashion, what is everyone's upcoming plans, whether in life or content creation wise? You start first. Under 10 hours.
Okay. So I've got a video coming out next week on Driver One. That was a fun one. Because I had never played the first Driver before. That's I might have some potentially unpopular opinions on it, but
Ooh,
that'll be interesting.
controversy.
Controversy. Besides that, um, just trying to stay on the grind. I'm taking a beach trip with my family
Yeah,
uh, soon before that stops being a possibility, and that's pretty much it. The future's kind of wide open right now until I find one of those very out of reach jobs.
Yeah. Just keep looking. Although it's probably pretty difficult now with the current situation.
Yeah, but trying to keep my head up. You know how it is.
Yeah, stay on that grind.
For sure.
Definitely. Well, and then aside real quick about driver games, one thing that made me interested in the driver games, I haven't played them, but I did see a video on YouTube. Apparently one of the driver games features like what could be described as a second person view on a video game. 'Cause, like you're seeing through the windshield of the vehicle following you, and you're controlling the vehicle in front. So it's like this first person and third person game. This is like one of the driver games accomplished what would be described as a second person video game moment.
Yeah.
So that's very fascinating. For me, I've got some content plans coming up. There's some videos I want to make, some reviews. I got some plans coming up actually with a friend of mine. We plan on doing a series. Actually, we're gonna do some episodes on movies and some episodes on games. It's basically an idea where we both sit in front of a set and we'll both pitch an idea for a movie, like describe what it would be about, whether it's a new movie or a take on a series, like our idea for a movie. Like we'll present concepts, and same with games. The son of a pitch we're going with. Thought the name was pretty clever. So hopefully we can get that made, and he can come over to my house, and we're gonna shoot a bunch of stuff that then I can edit and release. I got some reviews coming up. Want to make a video on Plants vs Zombies 1. I want to
Ooh, that'll be
eventually, yeah, definitely that game, tower defense game. That's one I've replayed many times. But I want to make a video on Flash games at one point, but the issue is again became a project and now it's too big just to shoot. Now there's always ideas for content. Like there's the big videos that you want to make. There's the videos you're planning on making soon, and then there's the times you wake up and you just get the random idea for a video, and that random idea you've got to make that video because that's the one you're hyped for. So you never know what's gonna be released when, but they're all plans in the work. I've got videos coming. I'm gonna get back on the full grind of productivity, folks. It's coming. Also, I want to review the game Gun because I really like the game Gun. I think it holds up really well. So I want to make a video, something like Gun is better than you remember or something.
That's
So,
cool. I played that one on PSP, and it was surprising how good it was and how faithful
yeah,
it was
like
to
the
the actual
graphics
story.
don't look good, but the gameplay's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Holds up better than Red Dead Revolver. Controversial opinion. Red Dead Revolver does not hold up that well.
Well, I'm
Throwing that
excited
out there.
to see that.
Eventually, it'll happen. Nostalgia, how about you?
Well, I'm hoping to get South Park for the N64 review out either Monday or Tuesday. I'm hoping to get the South Park video out this week and also the GTA 3 video out.
I
Hopefully,
want to see him. Definitely get him out.
hopefully, it's possible.
Well, I am looking forward to him. That South Park game. There was a time where I wanted to review all the South Park games before the Stick of Truth. But also, like, the idea of a 90s South Park game, something about that's just so fascinating to me.
Oh
I
yeah.
know it's bad, but the idea is fascinating. I want to see this video, Nostalgia 64. I want to see how bad that game is.
Yeah, I want to see that too.
And also, the canceled video, the one I was most hyped for making, and Under 10 Hours might appreciate this. I was gonna make a video on Mario Kart 64 with my friend. It was gonna be a cool video. It's like, hey man, you want to play Nintendo 64? Because as everyone knows, the Nintendo 64 is cool. It is rad. But that video never got made because my friend didn't come to my house. So
Oh,
one day though, a awesome Mario Kart 64 video will be made because I can play battle mode block for 5 hours in a row.
yeah, for sure. That'll be fun. That'll be a fun video.
Definitely. One day it'll be made. One day. Well, we've appreciated having you on under 10 hours. It's been a look into progress for a while. We
Yes, for
definitely
sure.
wanted you on because
Yeah.
I like your take on stuff, and I'll definitely be watching your content moving forward and revisiting what I've missed because I do like your analytical take on the subject matter, and you definitely come from it at a journalistic viewpoint, like a journalist would. So I do appreciate that.
Oh, cool. Thank you. I appreciate all of the praise, and I was happy to come on. This is a lot of fun. I really like doing this kind of thing where we just talk games, and
Yeah.
how can I pass up on this, right?
Yeah, it's not too often you can just have a long conversation like this about games.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
We'll definitely have you on in the future.
Awesome. Looking forward to
Thank
it.
Sweet. Well, gentlemen, anybody have any closing words? Everyone feel like they've said enough?
Yeah, just follow me, follow Haytham Gruxton, follow Under10Hours, and yeah, I guess we're out of here.
Fuck
All right.
yeah. This episode will be edited and up on my channel in the coming days.
Awesome. Awesome.
Sweet. Well, gentlemen, you have a good one.
You too.